Now, it's the 12th time the Thai military has seized power since 1932. And in a televised address, the army chief announced the military takeover of the government. General Prayuth Chan-o-cha says the coup is necessary to restore stability and order after 12 months of political deadlock. Now, this follows 2 days of inconclusive talks between the two main political factions. A nationwide overnight curfew will come into effect in 2 hours from now. Veronica Pedrosa sends this report now from Bangkok.
The Chief of the Armed Forces and his comrades in uniform have taken over all functions of government. A full reversal of what he'd said when he announced martial law. All radio and television stations have been ordered to only broadcast army material. They're playing Cold War-era martial anthems. Citizens have been ordered to stay in their homes after 10 p.m. A curfew is in place from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. The justification for all this, the military says, is to restore peace and order after sporadic violence and demonstrations in Bangkok. Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawatra was ousted when the Constitutional Court judged she'd acted illegally when she fired an official. The so-called yellow shirts, who'd been demonstrating for months, threatened mass strikes and major disruption to force out the remnants of the government. The red shirts, who support the Yingluck administration, insisted elections be held to resolve the political crisis. General Prayuth called for all the parties to join talks at an army location. That's where they were when the troops took over and brought them to an undisclosed location, simultaneously announcing the coup to the nation. Night's fallen on Bangkok, and Thailand enters another era of military rule. Veronica Pedrosa, Al Jazeera, Bangkok.
Let's go live now to another of our correspondents in Bangkok, Scott Heidler. And Scott, very swiftly, it seems, the military government has moved against the media.
Absolutely. We're hearing now that CNN, BBC and Bloomberg Television have been taken off the cable networks here in Thailand. As we heard in Veronica's piece, the local media have been impacted. They're only allowed to broadcast military, army productions. So they're really clamping down on the media. There have been rumors that the social media might come next. There's no indication of that just yet. But yes, they are definitely clamping down on how word is getting out about this coup that's been in place for a couple of hours. And we are in the yellow shirt camp. This is right in central Bangkok. We're right near Government House. And as we heard in the piece, that there's a curfew in place in just 2 hours time from now, from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. local. That includes the protesters. Some of these people here have been on the streets in one form or the other for 225 days. Now, you can see a lot of people are leaving now. They're packing up bags. They're walking out. We're hearing that the military has brought in trucks to help these people adhere to this curfew. It's just about 100 meters away from where I am. There's going to be a station set up by the military, so these people who don't have cars, who don't have a way to get out of here, to go back to their homes, or at least someplace, because come 10 o'clock, everyone has to be off the streets. Not here just in Bangkok, but right across Thailand.
And Scott, as you say, the people behind you have been entrenched, haven't they, for so many days, for so many weeks. So what's the mood with which they're packing up shop and going home?
Here, the mood, quite honestly, is quite good, because if you look at what will most likely transpire moving forward, these anti-government protesters, the yellow shirts, they have been pushing for a disbandment of the government. They wanted the government to resign. They wanted the prime minister to resign, because they want reform before new elections are made and before a new government gets put into place. So in essence, they got that, because the military now is in control of the country. So they were pretty happy. Actually, when we first arrived here, maybe about 90 minutes ago, there was someone on the loudspeaker telling everyone to leave, but then also in a congratulatory mood. Yes, we won what we sought out to do. Victory is ours. Go home now. So it's a much different picture, story, just on the outskirts of Bangkok at the Red Shirt Camp. That's the pro-government group. They've been out there for a couple of weeks in their thousands like they've been here, but they were removed forcibly by the military. We're hearing that out there, unlike the people behind me, they didn't have time to pack their belongings. Now, obviously, they've been here longer, these people behind me, but out there on the outskirts of Bangkok, the red shirt protest area was moved pretty quickly and forcefully by the military. The military saying, though, that they also gave them rides out if they needed it.
And Scott, to many people looking at these scenes, it will be quite amazing the fact that there's been another military coup in Thailand, and yet people are going about their business seemingly in a very ordinary fashion. It all seems very calm, and it's almost as though Thai people have become rather used to military coups.
Well, as you mentioned earlier, it's the 12th since the 1930s. So, yes, it's something that's been around. Some people probably have lived through several coups. But what's going to be interesting is to see what happens tomorrow. Now, when we've gone through many different stages in this last 6 months, we went through a state of emergency. We had the city shut down in the middle part because of protesters clogging the streets. So we've gone through many different incarnations of disruption, if you will. Nothing like this, obviously. This is where the military, the people with arms in this country, are telling everyone to get off the streets by 10 p.m. That hasn't happened in quite some time. But it'll be interesting to see come tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. because right now people are still digesting what has happened. It's not as though tanks are rolling down every street in Bangkok or in other cities across Thailand. Here, there's still a fairly soft presence, if you will. Will that change? Will that change come 9:45 p.m. when everyone is supposed to be off the streets? Will that change come tomorrow evening when that comes into place? Again, the curfew. So it'll be interesting to see how things go. Again, right at this stage, as you said, we're still just a couple of hours into it. People are digesting it. We'll have to see how they have to grow accustomed to it and change their lifestyle for it. We know that public transportation also is being shut early, and that's heavily relied on here in the city of Bangkok.
Okay, Scott, thank you for bringing us right up to date with developments in Bangkok.